At some point in prehistoric history, a man looked down at a newborn baby and felt something he had absolutely no words for. The kid didn't look like him, not even close. His body clocked it before his brain could even begin to process it. That cold, specific gut punch feeling that people today still recognize immediately. What he did next, and what every human society did in response to that exact moment, shaped the way our entire species put itself together. And the story of how it all went down is way stranger and way more important than most people ever stop to think about. Let's start with the biological problem, because that's where this whole thing begins. In every species that reproduces sexually, the female always knows the offspring is hers. She was there, no question about it. But the male is in a completely different situation. Fertilization happens on the inside when nobody can see it. A male who puts in his time, his resources, his protection into raising a kid has zero automatic guarantee that the kid is actually carrying his genes. From an evolutionary standpoint, pouring everything you have into raising another guy's kid is one of the most expensive mistakes a male can possibly make. Every resource you spend on a child that isn't genetically yours is a resource you didn't spend on children that are. Evolution doesn't forgive that mistake. It just quietly removes the males who keep making it from the gene pool over time. Scientists call this paternity uncertainty. And in the ancient human world, this wasn't some personal soap opera. It was a survival problem with genetic consequences that played out across thousands of generations without a single break. The human body responded to this problem in ways you can still see today. Across virtually every culture ever studied, men show higher levels of sexual jealousy than women. Not emotional jealousy, specifically sexual jealousy. The deep, specific fear of a partner's physical cheating. Evolutionary psychologist David Buss spent decades studying this pattern across 37 different cultures on 6 continents. The results came back the same every single time. Men responded harder to sexual infidelity. Women responded harder to emotional infidelity. This isn't something culture taught people, this is biology. And it's old enough to show up in species that split off from our evolutionary line millions of years ago. But the ancient human reaction to a child that looked wrong went way beyond personal feelings. It rebuilt society from the ground up. Anthropologists, who study the shift from early human band structure into more complex social organization, have identified paternity certainty as one of the main drivers of pair bonding. In a group where mating wasn't exclusive, paternity was basically impossible to pin down. Any male in the group could theoretically be the father of any child. That created a very specific social dynamic. Males had almost no incentive to go all in for any specific kid because the genetic connection was always up in the air. Resources and protection got spread broadly across the whole group instead of being locked into individual family units. But something shifted, and the evidence points to the problem of the wrong-looking kid as the thing that forced that shift. As pair bonding got more established, as specific men and women started forming more exclusive attachments, paternity certainty went up. A man who was reasonably confident a child was his invested way more into that child. More food, more protection, more teaching, more direct survival advantage passed straight to that specific kid over thousands of generations. This created a feedback loop that couldn't be stopped. Pair bonding produced more investment. More investment produced healthier kids. Healthier kids survived at higher rates. The genes that supported pair bonding spread through the population, and the social structure built around it, the family unit, became the foundational organizing structure of all of human society. Here's the part that flips everything on its head. The family as we know it may not have come from love. It may have come from suspicion. The entire architecture of human pair bonding, jealousy, fidelity, and family loyalty might trace its deepest roots not to affection, but to the cold, hard, biological math of paternity uncertainty. Love came later. The structure that holds it together was built by something older and a whole lot less romantic than that. And the moment it all crystallized, the specific social breaking point that made the cost of cheating impossible to ignore may have been exactly that moment. One man, one newborn, one face that didn't match, one feeling with no name that his nervous system already understood completely before his conscious mind had any shot at catching up. That feeling has a name now, and the architecture it built is all around you. Every expectation of loyalty, every jealous instinct, every cultural and legal structure ever built around marriage and family, all of it has a line running straight back through hundreds of thousands of years to a moment that was never about romance. It was about a kid who looked wrong, and a nervous system that already knew exactly what that meant.